Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Lord Lucan, the Monday Night Club. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everybody is all good. Thank you to everybody that's subscribed recently. Thank you to the new members of the lords and ladies of the Lucan Manor. I am humbled and glad that you've chosen to join us. We do, of course, have ourselves a little mystery guest, but before we get there today, I've been asked to give out a little message. There's a particular amazing artist that somebody's been sharing work with me that's really up and coming, and it's got some great stuff, great makeup artist. So I'd really, truly like to say happy birthday to Katie. We send you all big loves from everybody here at the Lucan Manor. So then, we do, of course, have our wonderful guests. I can see the guesses of who it possibly could be popping up in the chat. I love the assumptions. I also love that you guys are saying perhaps it's Mason. That would be a short conversation if it would, wouldn't it? But we love that very, very much. So then, I'm not going to mess about. We're going to go pretty much straight over to our young man. So he is a young man, obviously. I've given that away at least. He is a gentleman. He's a scholar. He's a cerebral acrobat. I would like to introduce to you a man called Jacob. Welcome, Jacob. Pleased to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Nice to be here in the manor.
Yeah, welcome. It's a very exclusive place to be. Choose a room in the West Wing. There's a few suites left, so do please make yourself comfortable. Have a cup of tea and a crumpet, and Jeeves will be along in a moment to deal with your baggage. So for those people who are sitting there going, who, what, why, please just give us a little bit about who you are and why we might possibly know you.
Well, my name's Jacob. I'm one of the founding members of Get 'em. It's like a music brand, and started as just like music artist thing, but then we grew it kind of like into a thing where we helped other artists and got a business license and stuff, and started building out a label, learned how to publish, and just started doing it for other artists and teaching them how to make money off of their music, because a lot of people, believe it or not, do not know how to do that. I know a lot of signed artists like with big labels that don't know how their publishing works. And it's a very important process that they just glaze over in every meeting I've ever been in. So I mean, it's a good thing to get out there.
Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons that I thought it'd be really interesting. In fact, Jacob and I spent a very short period of time just checking out stuff yesterday and make sure everything works. And Jake has some really interesting insights and opinions on various things. I think if you were to combine the IQs of all the cast members of Life After Lockup, Love After Lockup, 90 Day Fiancé, and then times that by about 10, I think you probably arrived at the place where we have our Jacob. He's got some really interesting things to say. So I do hope that you guys enjoy.
That's heavy.
No expectations, you know what I mean? But no pressure at all, Jake. I'll just build you up quite hard. So can you tell us a bit more about your past, like before you arrived at music, before you arrived on good old La Lu, as we call it?
Yeah. Actually, I was kind of in the dying down period of like what I felt was my entire life, because I dedicated my life to it. That's why we call it Get 'em, because it's an acronym for Give Everything to Music. And that's exactly what I did for a long time. And I just got into a point where I didn't want to do it alone anymore. And I also learned music theory, which if you haven't learned music theory yet and you want to be a musician, all that magic you feel is great and it's a wonderful thing. But when you really knuckle down and learn the theory and learn the whys of hows, then it really changes the entire perspective of how you even attack trying to improvise a song.
Right.
And it affects you as a musician in a way that takes the magic away completely.
So do you think that that's something that let's say there's a newcomer to the industry, or somebody who's relatively new that comes to the industry? Do you think that's something that they truly understand? Do you think they understand that?
I don't think they're worried about that, man, because they aren't even looking at it like they aren't trying to do music nowadays. It's like every person I come across that wants to be an artist they just want to like look like the people that we've seen coming like beforehand. They don't realize how real life works. Like even like experiencing like early 2000s, you got Chris Brown, right? Coming with like, guaranteed I can run it, right? That shit was everywhere. That shit was everywhere. Everyone had heard that, right? No one realized that the actual reason that song was a hit was because it was paid to be a hit. It was known to be, it was going to be a hit from the jump, from the get-go. They had the marketing team behind it. They had the case studies and demographics behind it and the analytics, and they knew what to target, and how to execute on a very finely made out plan. When I try to address this with any artist I've come across at all, across the whole spectrum, whether he's 45 and been doing it for 20 years at the local bars or 19 and wants to get started, they all have the same idea. And it's, no, if I just put this out on SoundCloud, one time, I just got to have one SoundCloud song over 1 million plays and I got it. And then that is the wrong mindset, because then they dive into, well, now I can go on this website and pay, and they're saying they're going to get me this many listens on my SoundCloud. Oh, why does this not reflect with my audience? Well, because that's not how marketing works. You're not targeting an audience. You're not taking the time to actually even learn your audience. They come at stuff so jovial that it makes people like me that take it seriously feel disgusted. It's like, I really dedicated my life to this, and I really did learn, and I studied, and I figured out what I had to do and why I had to do it. And anytime I try to address that with anyone, they don't care, because they know how to do it.
Do you think that's sort of a symptom of society? Do you think everyone is just kind of like, oh, do you know what? Stuff is instant. I've seen this stuff on TV, people get picked up. There's this kind of, this dream situation.
Well, people always want to use euphemisms for things, and I love the euphemism of a pig. So a lot of them just want personal instant gratification. And so that right there, the acronym for that would be PIG. So every time you feed that personal instant gratification, you're acting as a pig. It doesn't matter. And the more you feed the pig, the less you pay attention to it, because, I mean, let's face it, a tiny little teapot pig, right? They're cute. A big-ass potbelly pig, they're disgusting. You know what I mean? So once it starts getting so big, you're not so proud of that little piggy anymore, so you start not even looking at it, and you don't realize how much you're feeding it, how fat it's getting, and then before you know it, it's the only thing that is you, and it becomes you and consumes you. And I think that that's a big problem with today, and with people everywhere.
I mean, we watched, so for example, I think we watched recently, there was a particular personality that, for example, didn't understand exactly what music score was. I rolled laughing when I see. But listen, it's like, I mean, I appreciate what anyone wants to, I appreciate anybody's want to feel important. You know what I mean? So like, I understand we all want to feel important, and I understand that it is important that we feel that way, and that it's a vital thing for survival. But at the point that it does become a flexing issue, then you have to look at, what are the actual issues here? That's what attracted me to your channel. I was like, he's attacking the real issues. Like, he's really putting in the elbow grease to see what's really going on here. And I just appreciated a lot of people brush over shit. Well, you definitely combed it though, and that struck me differently. It was a very stark contrast to everything else that has to do with this show, and everything about it. Oh, thank you. I'm flattered and humbled. It's really interesting though, because obviously you come across as a certain way, and I know there's a lot of things we probably can't talk about, and the scene that we get of you when it comes out, is kind of highly polished to a degree, isn't it? We only see really what we are supposed to see, which might sort of tell a narrative.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely, because like when they were over here, so I really was trying to do a studio session with Mike. Like, I really wanted to get the dude the vocals he wanted, the way he wanted them to sound, and I was dedicated to that, because I was like, this was like a turning point in my life, really. Like, I was nearing the end of my want to do music and my inspiration to even be involved with it. And then out of nowhere, what looked like an opportunity. I mean, I come at things pretty pessimistically. I've noticed that as I get older, I get more and more pessimistic, and I look at it like I'm becoming a curmudgeon, but I feel like it's a good thing. But
No, I think
it's
that's really interesting because you know, as you say, it's like there seems to be kind of a battle between you know, they talk about kind of selling your soul. You know what I mean? There's that
yeah,
the famous song
it
about
definitely
the
feels
guy
like
who
it.
meets the devil on the way to Denver or whatever it is. You know. And they talk about, was it Bob Dylan or someone like that? Apparently sold his soul to Satan and became, you
Oh
know,
my goodness, there's so many, there's so many riffraffs out there about it, and it's kind of you got to be careful about how you get your information and who you get your information from. I'd say the only person I can for sure say I could believe was involved with something spiritually that changed his musicality would be Robert Johnson, and he's a blues player from early 1900s. But definitely, if you haven't heard of him, look into him because he's a musician that whenever I had heard of him, it changed my life. I looked into a lot of things and I learned how to play the blues the right way. And now I play the blues and I make myself cry here.
See, so I'm a bit of a Johnny Lee Hooker fan. You know, I saw him on Blues Brothers doing Boom Boom Boom, and that was it for me.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, this is properly cool. Oh, someone in the chat's just told us Devil Goes Down to Georgia. Thank you very much, GSP. Good job. But do you think that? Sorry, I caught his name. Remind me of his name again.
Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson. Do you think he would have paid for his Instagram followers?
That's the difference here is that you're asking the wrong question. And the answer is no. Any real musician out there, because I do have a mentor and he's a wonderful mentor for anybody who would want to be a real musician. And I didn't get his permission if I could say his name or not. So I'm not going to, out of respect for him.
That's fair.
But my mentor even looks at it the same way as me. It's not for it doesn't matter who's looking and it doesn't matter what they're looking at. What matters is, are you supplying what you feel is, actually, hold on. I have something I wrote about this in my phone because I was gonna make a blog post about this because I do have a blog as well on my
Cool.
website.
Shout out your blog address, and I'm sure.
It's getemrecords.com/blog.
Cool.
But yeah, in my notes here, I have something I actually wrote about this exact subject. Okay, so I called it To Be Creative. To be a creator of art, I believe you have to be able to disappear for short periods of time. I know it seems like you constantly have to keep up with your reach and stimulating the algorithm as well. But I took the risk a few times of not just using social media, and instead limited my use of anything to nothing but my instruments. And proudly I can say that now I play piano, bass, drums, mandolin, harp, trumpet, harmonica, banjo, cello. Consider myself pretty well at guitar as well as repairing guitar. And I plan to learn saxophone one day to add to my possibilities with sound. Truly due to hearing a baritone sax in person and listening to nature itself, it's kind of like the same thing. It moves you, even without a trained ear. I started in professional music as a hip-hop artist, and truly, at that time I was far from professional, far from considering myself a multi-instrumentalist, let alone astonish myself like I do nowadays. Also, to those who would want to understand music creation on a level that's deep, do this. Learn theory on a guitar, then on a piano. Study it in those two places, in that order. And no lie, you'll learn the secrets that'll ruin it for you. During the years I was blessed to tour and create a brand, alongside build a network of beautiful people, I had been at an enigmatic pace with each task that I'd came at. And it felt quite good to know that I was able to book more shows than we could actually even pull off. But somehow we always defied our own expectations. This built a great confidence within me and a deep understanding that I hope to re-gift onto anyone who would want to go on that journey looking for it. I might actually cry reading this. So
Please, no, please
if
do.
I cry and you want to make fun of me, that's fine.
I'm sure the viewers appreciate. I think the most refreshing thing about this is that somebody's appearing here that is showing, true vulnerability, true consideration of sensitivity.
Yeah, that's what I want to show people is like
please
that it's
do.
okay to be that way.
Please do, please.
The musical brother that I began this journey with, and that has built my entire life's purpose, yet no longer has him in it. And I don't believe our choices on either end were healthy, so it was for the best of both of us. However, if you talk to him, he probably has nothing positive to say about me. And truly, I wish this person on Earth the best, and every person on Earth the best. Losing him, well, that's when I learned my most recent instrument, piano. I took a good while off creating music, and the projects I would start, I would get about 90% done, and then I would have what I would like to call an emotional breakdown. In a fit of rage, I would throw all the items off my desk and stand up so forcefully that my chair would smash into the floor, sliding away. A few paces and contemplations on just smashing everything in this room that reminded me of him, mainly because it reminded me that I was all alone. And then I would pick up my chair, sit down, like the juvenile little boy that I was, and I would erase the work that I had just created. I was defeated. I knew this feeling. It's what drove me to learn an instrument in the first place. So I picked up my guitar. Leaning back, I would feel it rest on my lower belly, and I would drift away. And it was a nostalgic and melancholy moment for me. And then I remembered what truly mattered. And I laughed, because it was the music. That's what drives people that should belong in the music industry, not the shit that is out there now. So that's why I help people that want to do music, because if you want to do music for music, I can help you and you can make money, and we can do it as a team. But if you just want to look like you do that, then it's very, very mean to take somebody's time away.
Wow, I'm taken aback, man. That was so heartfelt and so wonderful. Let me just quickly share with you some comments here. I think we can all appreciate your words. Says Wendy, keeping real music alive. Says YOY. Very well says Tatiana. So I think those words really resonate with the audience. You know what I mean? I think it's so important. That emotional connection to music is actually what keeps music alive. And I think to some degree, that's actually what's kind of been lost throughout the course of it, isn't it? That emotional
because
attachment.
it's so gridlocked now, and everybody wants to just, like, people don't realize, if you listen to the real masters of music that have existed, none of them talked about perfection. And what do you hear on every record that's in the top 20 of any fucking chart? Sorry if I can't say the F word or not. I didn't ask you for it.
Say whatever you want, man. Like, literally, just don't drop the C-bomb and we're good.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Caucasian.
Yeah, that's a bad word these days. Yeah, you can't say that shit.
But no, yeah, like I think that the viewpoint that a lot of people come at this with is such a jaded representation of what reality really is, and they don't understand how the lives of the people that are involved with this stuff are affected, especially because they don't take into consideration just how much their lives are taken over.
So, just sort of leading it back in a way then. So if you were to, let's say, for example, you've got a new artist come to your studio, or a different artist come to your studio, and you give them a bit of a talk. Perhaps this person's been, is not quite up to speed on how music is these days. What's the kind of information then? What kind of a talk do you give? What's the kind of download that you deliver?
Well, if the person was just away from the music industry and they had been involved before, I would understand completely where they were coming from, because I was involved from about that same time period, I would say, if they would say it was about 6 years. But I would let them know, like, it's not the same anymore. You can't just throw stuff together really quick. There's a long and arduous process that you have to take nowadays if you want to truly be a successful musician. And a lot of people just look at it like, well, I just want to be an artist. And it's like, well, shit. We're all artists. We are in my belief, we are the beautiful art that separates the supernatural from the natural, because we are 50% that supernatural thing, 50% Mother Earth. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So like, all people are art, we're all artists, because we all can create by like the moment that you do anything as a person, as soon as you come out of the womb, right, you begin your life as a creator. And not a lot of species are creators. And people think we're so advanced, but I mean, nobody really realizes it. But there was a news story not too long ago about orangutans being found using tools out in Asia now. They're learning how to use tools like hammers and nails.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. And it's like people still think we're that much better than these animals. We go look at them in cages. What's going to happen when those animals that are using tools realize that we're keeping their kind in cages and just standing there looking at them? What's going to happen then?
Do you know, it totally is. There's the theory, you know, sort of two parts to the theory. One, that, you know, the sheepdogs, I think they're called border collies, that they will advance so much within the next however many years that these people are going to become aware of their existence. Same with apes and monkeys. You know, over the course of 10,000 years, these things are going to evolve to a state where actually they're starting to resemble humans. There was a dog that had learnt to hit buttons in order to say words and various things, to make requests and stuff, and that dog became depressed because it had figured out that it was a dog and it had limitations in the world. So do you think?
Did you ever see that video with Robin Williams and that ape?
Robin
If you haven't seen that video with Robin Williams and the ape, you got to look it up.
Right.
It's a beautiful interaction between a being that is like definitely conscious, like that. I mean that I think she's an ape, or she's either an ape or an orangutan. I can't remember, but either way, she is definitely conscious, like and in the moment with him.
Right.
And I mean, people think we're so advanced, but they don't realize that they fall into their own primal urges of just believing whatever they see. When you're not supposed to believe, you know, you're supposed to believe like what? It's nothing. You believe nothing that you see, believe nothing that you hear is the new way to say it. I would believe.
Right.
That, you know, because like it's hard to know what sources are not. You can't even say lying, because they'll find a way to get semantically around it. So you have to say, well, you don't know what sources are driven by in order to provide you the information they're providing you. You know?
So on that note though, so just to sort of segue back to the show to a degree. So how do you feel?
It's a gorilla. I just had my partner look it up. It's a gorilla.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Jake's partner. I appreciate that greatly. So then, you know, how do you feel then about the nature of how you were sort of put forward? Because you say there that we may or may not be in control of certain destinies or certain illusions of self. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like if I would have done an interview with them, that they might have said they were going to air possibly, that I definitely would have taken the time to point out in every single question in every single way that the media will you know, kind of gaslight and imprison you verbally, because English is really the tongue of the liar. I mean, that's why it was created. I don't know if people realize that or not, but we speak the tongue of the liar. There's so many different meanings for so many different words, and it could be perceived in so many different ways. And we keep making it more in depth, acting like we're so up, like we're up here psychologically, when really no, there's a very small percentage of us that are up here psychologically, but we're also up here fucking scared, dude, fucking terrified, because we see how much is down here and just thinking it's up there. And it's crazy because people get force-fed this narrative that they have this voice that's heard and that they're cared about and that they're cared for and that everything's going to be all right. They don't realize how fast that same voice is going to say, all right, now we're out of resources, more money, or fuck off. You know?
Yeah. Because that's the idea, isn't it? That the kind of, in a way, that the human condition is expendable. You know, there's 8 billion of us on the planet now, so perhaps a few of us are disposable. Is that how you kind of see that?
Hell No, I don't see any of us as disposable. I think every single person on this fucking planet, including those, like, I think we should stop fucking with tribal people. Like that one island that people don't go to because they get killed every time you try to go to it.
Yeah.
Stop fucking trying to go there. They don't want you there. Like, stop.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of the planes coming out with that. Like, it looks like a scene from Avatar. You know, they've got all the arrows and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
they're
that.
all standing there and
Yeah,
they're like looking fucking terrified. Yeah, because like every time you come around, you're bringing viruses that have never been there. I mean,
yeah,
we
yeah.
genetically do shit all the time. People don't realize our food is fucking controlled. Do you notice how food don't taste as good as it used to? You know why? Because they're fucking changing it, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on. And people get so sucked into the minor issues of wanting a 15 minutes on a screen to look cool. And it's like, it's all right to look cool, but I was in an argument one time with a kid and he said, I met Leonardo DiCaprio. And I think back and I'm like, I don't know what I said back to him, but it wasn't as fucking cool as what I thought of now I would have said. Because nowadays I'd be like, I hope he talks about you the same way.
But that's the thing, isn't it? You know, what drives us as people now, you know, is such crazy contrast to the things that drives us before. It was about the family values. It was about the things that kind of made us important as a person. You know, now
I
we're
actually am
driven by
trying to get,
likes,
I have a gift
ratings.
I'm going to be giving Justine. I wrote a book called Postpartum Depression.
Great.
And it's not like I don't want to sound mean by giving her it as a gift. I honestly think every woman should like look into it. Not even with my book even, because like, you know, the thing is, I just wrote about my own personal thoughts and experiences because my partner has gone through postpartum depression, and I mean, it can drive some crazy things to happen around you without you even realizing it. You'll make, you know, different choices than you would believe you would make, and so I mean. I'm going to be giving her that book as a gift, and I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to write in the cover because I want to write something in the cover and sign it, you know, before she has the baby. I mean, because I feel like she definitely has a stressful life. I mean, can you imagine having that many kids and trying to tackle that many tasks all at
Yeah,
one time?
yeah.
I mean, it's a hard life to juggle.
I appreciate this. If you can't answer this question, I imagine. So, do you think that she gets fair? Do you think it's fair what we see of Juju? We're presented with somebody who is very occasionally vulnerable, but I think there's a really vulnerable side to her. I think she's incredibly human, but I don't think we're
I
necessarily.
believe she, you know, she is a human. She's a beautiful human. Actually, I think that she's a wonderful person. Everything that I have experienced with her, even with Mike, you know, Mike's heart is in the correct place. Mike's heart is in the correct place, but I feel like his mind is too easily distracted. And I feel like they definitely take advantage of that. Um, and by they, I don't know who I'm talking about. Maybe you could guess who, but
Sure.
um, but I feel like, you know, I feel like that definitely plays a part in the overall narrative that they're trying to drive. That there's some kind of like moral unrest in the house between the two. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're beautiful people, and I honestly do hope that everything works out for the best.
I commented on Auntie's channel just the other day that I called him Nice But Dim because I think he's an incredibly nice guy, and I do think he has a good heart, and I think he's probably quite. I think he's had some investment in his upbringing because he wouldn't be
Oh, he
as
busted his ass. Yo, he
yeah.
busted his ass here for a couple of weeks in a row every single fucking day. And it was nuts. We really built a bond. It was, I mean, it was a great time. I mean, and he really knocked it out too. He said, "Yo, I got 6 years worth of lyrics written." And I was like, "Okay, how are they?" And every song I wanted to make into a song. I like everything he would throw at me. I was astonished that he had thought it out so methodically. Like he definitely has down the ability to understand rap in the way that like Lupe Fiasco understands rap. You know, like with the structuralization of how syllables work against the, you know, way a word sounds and the way it's perceived and the tone you want to throw it with. And that's something I don't really notice a lot with a lot of rappers. They're rappers, but I mean that's self-proclaimed, you know.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. There's another rapper on there called OG Cam. Have you heard of OG Cam or seen anything of OG Cam?
Only on the show.
See,
And I do a lot of shows in Ohio, so I don't know. I mean, well, I used to anyway. I've done probably about, actually, honestly, like over 40 shows probably in Ohio
right, but
throughout it
he's
too,
not.
like all over it, like all over, even in Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah, oh, Cincinnati. That's where he's at, and well, certainly
Yeah,
he's got
yeah,
his
yeah.
family
I've done
right
shows there.
there. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a place called the Stoop. Shout out to Stoop.
Stoop. Hello, Stoop.
Yeah, my homie Niv runs that.
See, I don't sound very cool when I'm saying words like stoop and that sort of thing. You know,
You ain't throwing it with. You got to throw it with the. It'd be hard with your accent. I can't even do your accent. Let me try to do your
give it a
voice. So
try.
you
Yeah,
got to
go
be
on,
like,
go on.
look, hang on a second. It's the Stoop here in Cincinnati.
I love it. That's one of my favourite things actually. When people quote back to me the "hang on a second" line. That is one of my favourites. In fact, like when Mocker first he posted a thing of me and he had the "hang on a second" on there. I was just like, yeah, you know what I mean. There's like I don't know if like the hashtag "hang on a second" would ever make it, but he actually put the word "idiot" at the end there. He goes, "Hang on a second, idiot." So maybe it wasn't quite as flattering as it was.
It wasn't as nicely as he would prefer.
Yeah, I prefer maybe a little less idiocy. But then again, maybe I wasn't quite as flattering towards him. But yeah, so we saw in one of Mocker's videos, we were looking at a music desk, right? And I think I pointed out a few things that maybe weren't consistent with what we may perceive to be as as reality. You saw
I don't
that,
know
right?
where the touch sensor was on that, but there was not a touch. That wasn't a touch system. That wasn't a touch system.
That's it's like
That
the
system's too old to be touched. It didn't. That kind of technology didn't even. That wasn't even around for about 4 more years after that system existed.
I mean, it was well loved. You know, he kept it with his weights and everything in the garage. You know,
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You know what upset me about it is that if that equipment was here, I would be taking care of it, loving it, just like the equipment I have right here. And as you can see, I know how to run it because, like, check it. Bam, I helped build this shit right here. This is all me. Look at all these buttons.
yeah. Look at the buttons. Yeah, look at the buttons. Yeah. It's just like
No, but no,
This is
that's
how you
not.
score.
I didn't think that was. I thought that was such a. It was such an outburst I didn't expect to see. What was so funny about it was it caught me off guard. It was an unexpected ending. It was like that type of thing that catches you aback. It like blows your wig back.
I know what you mean. So do you think people then are at mercy of let's
Thinking that you score film on a fucking machine? Yeah.
yeah, because of course, yeah, you write your crotchets and quavers down on these buttons, right? That's how it goes, right? Of course, it
Yeah,
does.
you
Of
put
course
down.
it
This is the quarter note right here. Check it.
does. This is how I'm scoring film. Yeah. This is my I don't know bass clef.
I mean, maybe he did
button.
score film that way. Maybe the guy that taught him told him that's how you score film. You never know. I mean, maybe the guy that taught him wasn't even, or how do we know if that guy was talented or not, or whatever he achieved.
That could be the sales pitch, couldn't it? Look, come and pay, close to 10 grand for this piece of shit that's like 20 fucking 4 years old. And look, you can score film, with these
I
buttons.
kept it next to my fucking gold gym set, dude. You want to get that too? I'll throw that in for another 55.
And a couple of fucking dusty amps into the side. Yeah, there's my 10
Stack of
grand.
magazines in the back. You want to buy those?
They probably got more interest than the fucking desk console. You have to correct me on that.
Well, that one was a console.
Mm.
So, like, the difference between a desk and a console is, like, a desk is something you're going to use, like, and I mean, it's kind of like curmudgeon-y of a difference, I guess, to be honest. Like, that's something, like, no one really ever gets into arguments about that, but, I mean, it is a big deal to me, is that I hate when people call a desk a console or a console a desk. A console, you can control stuff with it that you can't control with a desk. So a desk is like a simple little, plug-in style, something you're going to use at a live show at like a fucking karaoke or some shit, But like, but like a console is something you're going to have like what I have here. and like this even would be like considered a console. Even this fader port 16 I have over here, um, it's just like a control center for the audio and how you're gonna conduct it and route it to be properly proportioned.
It's interesting though that you use the word karaoke, and I see. I was watching a show, and there was a lot of guys, kind of like they've got the backing track, but they don't seem to have kind of like dropped out
Oh
various
my God, I
tracks.
hate when people perform with a backing track. Listen, if you're performing with a backing track, it's an album listening party. Get the fuck out of here. Either go book your own event and fucking do an album listening party, or fucking take the fucking vocals off. Like, listen, if the guy who's mixing your shit can't give you a copy that doesn't have vocals on it, then you got the wrong guy mixing your shit.
Yeah, yeah. I'm working with a guy over here. In fact, I'm going to shout him out. His name's YG, a rapper guy over here, and yeah, it's I can't imagine he would just send you one fucking master. Like, if you're going to be doing this, and this, you're going to need this, and
Oh
this.
yeah, you need everything separate. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
another thing too. Is like, I even just started working with a band from out of the capital of my state, which is Harrisburg. But I just started working with a band from Harrisburg. They do like primacy style stuff. I'm gonna be like playing lead guitar for them.
my name is Mud.
Um, but like they sent me over stems, and I could tell that they're great. They sound great. But like the stems they sent me were like one of them was digital drums with vocals on it as a single file, and then the other one was like bass and guitar and vocals in a single file. And I was like, listen, dude, this is not stems. Like stems is like you give me a guitar track, you give me a vocal track, you give me a drum track. And like I told him not to even give me a drum track because I have Studio One and like I have a huge library of live drums. So like I can just take like previously recorded live drums that were recorded at whatever studio because I would pay for back in the day I would pay for sounds. Like I have a shit ton of sounds I paid for of just different instruments like oboes and xylophones and like shit like that just because I love having the ability to create whatever sound I want and like the ability to sample nowadays with how digital audio workspace technology is advanced is astonishing.
Right. Have you ever considered? I've heard a few tracks out recently where you've got people using AI. So I think there's a fairly well travelled version of I think it's David Guetta has used a track has used a piece of AI where he's emulated Eminem, for example. He can't release it for various copyright reasons, but what do you think about
Yeah,
the
I actually
that?
heard a really valid argument the other night on Facebook. Actually, some guy put up an AI version of Tech Nine rapping something, and I listened to it and I said, maybe it's because I have a trained ear, but I can hear the lack of humanity in the pronunciation of the words, like the articulation of the syllables. You can hear that it's kind of like it's like there's a veneer over it that's not human. Like you can hear like it sounds like somebody with a pillow over their face, kind of to me.
Yeah.
And it's like that blatant to me, but other people will be like, nah, dude, that sounds just like Tech. And I'm like, nah, dude, you're an idiot.
So just a question: should you ever stoop to the level of AIing someone? Who would
Okay,
you?
so it's
Who would
interesting
you
you asked me
AI
this.
with?
The other night I hopped on Chat GPT, right?
Okay, right.
So I hop on Chat GPT and
I
I,
love
I get into a
ChatGPT.
conversation with it about music and the
Yeah,
history of the emotional sounds of chord progressions, right? And I warm it up and I start, stimulating it to give me some good music information. And then I ask it, the kicker, I'm like, give me the most emotional thing that I could play right now. And it actually, here, I'll play it on the piano. It told me to play this. And I was
yeah,
astonished
yeah,
because I was
yeah.
like,
Do it.
holy shit.
Yeah, live performance. Check this shit out. Oh, I'm not sure we can hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it?
Yeah, no, I can hear your vocals real well, but yeah,
Oh, it's a vocal mic. That would make sense. Hold on,
yeah.
let me let me see if I can plug in my piano.
Yeah, we'd love to hear it, man. Yeah. This is like let me get my lighter out. This is like a proper concert here. Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm actually sick of not being able to like play music for anybody, because anytime I try to play music for people, I'll ask them questions that are gonna help me understand an audience better. But then they take that as like uh they're my pro analytics fucking. They're like their username becomes pro analytics tool 6969420 in your fucking co-pilot seat at your fucking studio. You know what I mean? Like that sucks.
uh, See, this is what I mean, viewers. It's yeah, amazingly talented and interesting person. It's so interesting.
Can y'all hear that?
I can hear you really well. I can hear you really well. Oh, heard that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Damn, I can't hear it, so this is gonna be hard for me.
See, this is a test for you there, young man. Oh, it sounds so good. It keeps cutting out. That's the only thing.
Damn, I'm sorry. I didn't that was a problem I was having that took me so long to get in here, is because like my I'm not used to trying to run my audio for like a live stream thing.
Sure, no worries, no worries.
And being that we're doing live on here and I'm like monitoring through Discord and not through like my program,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if I have the audio turned on a certain way, like the way that I would need it to hear it, you guys would hear so much feedback. You'd be like, "Get this fucking dude!"
You know what I think we should do? I think you and I should jam live. I'll grab me.
Yeah, we should figure out how to pull that off, and let's do it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll do that. We'll put something together, and yeah, we'll jam, right? And I think it'd be a great mix of because I think not to be too thing, but I think we've both got the ability to be able to do a little bit of rap, a little bit of like melodic singing. I think we've got it, and I think next time, let's do it next week. We'll put out something. We'll jam
let's
together
plan
live.
it out. Let's plan it out next week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll do that. 100%, 100%. A new band forming. Someone's just said, yeah, absolutely. There's sort of over the puddle
We'll
band.
be the next what did they call? What did Moist Critical call his band?
Oh, I love Moist Critical, but I don't know what his band is
Yeah,
called.
2019 guy.
Yeah, man, we should do that. We should do that. That's a fucking full on. Anyway.
It's full on.
Full on, motherfucker. Anyway, so back to some sort of semblance of interview.
My apologies.
Oh no, don't apologise at all, man. I'm much happier for it to be sort of like an ad lib conversation between you and I that I think everybody can share with, because it's again, it's sort of like, you got about, I don't know, 20 seconds of airtime on there. And,
yeah, it took about 7 hours.
Yeah, 7 hours. Jesus Christ. So what kind of feedback? I think you alluded.
On Reddit, I got tore apart like a freaking redheaded stepchild bent over the fucking table.
Right. So what sort of thing? Can you talk more on that?
Oh, people were just like writing the most nastiest of assumptions about me, trying to like say crazy shit about me, and then what's crazy is. I can't even talk about that. I apologize, and that tells you about the control of
worries,
American media. So I apologize.
Yeah.
But the thing is that sucks, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that way, but I do live in the USA, and
don't worry.
freedom of speech is kind of like, it's like part of the American dream. You got to be fucking asleep to believe it.
Yeah. They've got the kind of you've got your constitutional rights, but actually constitutional rights are kind of relative.
They depend on who you are and who you know and who you're helping out.
It's a relative commodity. It's not actual.
Yeah,
not actual stuff. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just pouring myself another drink there, young sir.
You know what? You know, you have me want some wine. I might tell my girl to crack open the bottle of wine, bring it up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you know what I was going to say before we started talking? By the way, I like to drink, and I like a glass of wine. It's kind of part of my, you know. That's the thing, you know. If you were
etiquette,
to,
I think your etiquette is it's a awesome etiquette to have. You have like the demeanor of the stoner guy that you wouldn't be uncomfortable getting stoned with for the first time, but also the wisdom look of this guy's not a fucking idiot. We're not going to get in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that you know, I am flattered and humbled. Seriously, it's difficult. You know, I kind of portray two characters to a degree. You know, I do the character where I rip shit out of people during the course of the videos that I do. But then there's
Love
me.
it. I think it's great. And if anybody ever gets mad at you for you being that guy, then fuck them. They're acting just like fucking Will Smith. What are they gonna do? Walk up and slap you for doing your fucking job?
Yeah, do you know, I got a comment just the other day. Someone told me I should be ashamed of myself, and I should go and get myself a life. So I accidentally went and researched their life, because you know I'm a bit like that. So I researched their life and I sent them a comment back, and I said I sent them the definition of joke. First of all, and then I said, well, I actually have a life, thank you very much, and it doesn't revolve around white plastic cheap furniture. And I've not heard a response from this person since. But you know what I mean?
There was a guy on eBay that ripped me off for $200. I sent him a golf club. I was actually a pretty good golfer, but I sent him a golf club. It was a Ping G425, right? Sure. I sent this asshole this golf club. He's 72 years old. He gets it, puts on eBay that he wants a fucking refund. They give him the refund. He never sends it the fuck back. And so I got a hold of eBay. They didn't do anything about it. So I figured out who he was, and he had me blocked on eBay. So I don't want to get into how I figured that out, but I figured out his first and last name, how much his house was worth, when he bought it, where he was at, what all he attended, you know, where he went, where golf club he was a member of, where that golf club was. And I got a hold of him and said, hey, here's all this information. So are you going to give me that $200 because your property value went up $16,000 to $23 in the past 30 days. So I know you can afford to give me my $200.
I love that. See, I think it's really indicative of a person with class. They can
identify. Just want to reach out and let them know, like, hey, if you really want to play this game, well,
absolutely,
I play chess better because here's all my moves. I know where you're at.
Absolutely. There's what is it called? I think it's called the something like there's this, oh fuck me off. I've got, it's been so long since I played chess. But
realistically, I live in America, so if I would get shot or anything for anything that I've said, just know that my main goal is that people understand that we should love one another, and I'm being dead ass honest, because I mean, like, this is honestly, I was pretty worked up about doing this with you because, you know, there's some pretty crooked things going on in the world today, and people need to realize that, you know, the weaponization of the U.S. dollar should be a big sign to everyone that things are collapsing, and people need to pay attention to what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I would appreciate if people would take more time to sit back and analyze, as opposed to try to project an image or idea that something is what it isn't.
See, that's a really important thing. You know, when there was an incident that happened on my last stream, and you know, so you sort of think, okay, well, you know, I've done one interview and one incident happened, so therefore I've not exactly got a success rate that's particularly astounding. And I understand that you know, anybody that comes in from a particular perspective, i.e., from reality TV or whatever it is, that you're held to a certain account. You're held to a certain degree of conduct. Otherwise, perhaps you might be. I'm going to use the word assassinated, but I use it in the way that's a weak way of using it. Otherwise, your character could be assassinated, and you would be dragged over the coals, as they say. So it's crazy for me to really understand the concept of being controlled in that fashion. I mean,
you got to think about Canada right now. Even they're trying to do 15-minute cities in Canada, where everyone has to stay within 15 minutes of their home. That's a big deal, and people need to wake the fuck up all over this world and realize we need to come together. And I'd say like that good resources to go to so far that I could see is like guys like you, guys like Russell Brand, guys like me. You can check out my blog or like check out any of those people's stuff that I had mentioned. Everyone watching this understand that like your life is important, and especially to people like us. Even though this guy's a shit talker, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm a shit talker too, and so are you. And if you don't believe that, then fuck you. You're a piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. But if you do believe it, then we love you, and we want to fucking share that love and actually be a republic of people. You know? It sucks.
I love your
It sucks
passion.
what we're going through.
I love your passion. I love your passion so much. So we're reaching the points where I should be signing off and all that sort of stuff. Oh, well, that's okay. Thank you very much. Sorry, that was probably drivel to everybody that understood that. But those who could see the chat was there. But, oh, dude, I appreciate so much the fact that you've come on my little show and chatted to us.
It ain't that little, man. You're growing. You're getting there.
I'm getting there. I've been on a couple of months now, you know.
You need to share your shit more. That's one thing I noticed, you know what I mean? Like, the viewers don't share it. I even noticed it about myself. I'm calling myself out here now, too. Hey, fucker. Yeah. Share it. Share it. Help the dude out. I mean, he's being fucking hilarious. He's more funny than the fucking original thing he's making fun of anyway.
I appreciate
the satire, the satirical comedy. Think about Liam Neeson. Think about fucking Naked Gun. Think about that type of shit. It was fucking hilarious because it was comedy that worked and made sense, just like this shit.
Do you know, I've been compared to Liam Neeson. One of my exes said, do you know, one of the things I like about you is you look like Liam Neeson. I was like, what? I look like... I've had Liam Neeson, Bono, Colonel Sanders. This is the shit people say. But I'm happy with that. You know, I don't really give a shit. I'm perfectly happy. People can say what the fuck they want about me.
I think it's really hilarious and it's a great thing, dude. I appreciate you for being able to help me laugh. Because like nowadays, it's hard to find things it's hard to find the humor in things for me. So I appreciate your kind of comedy. It's hard to come by, and you hit the nail on the head usually every video. So thank you.
Dude, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for...
Especially the mustache thing, dude. The mustache thing's fucking hilarious. The mustache thing is the shit. This motherfucker... Right here. Hold on. I gotta do this. Pay homage to that joke. Ready? Ready? I was really fucking mad. I told her I was gonna get... Okay, now I'm really fucking pissed. Right?
Yeah, the Sean video. Yeah. His moustache gets bigger every scene. I love it so much. Thank you so much, dude.
You want up more than him. No, I'm kidding.
No, I love it so much. Thank you so much for being on board, and thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, much love. Hey, my books are available on Amazon. Postpartum Depression, and then I also have a book out called The Serpent Son. It's a take on the Adam and Eve story, but from the perspective of the serpent, in order to be like a psychological tool to show you what you should use to make your decisions, which is like a step back. People need to realize we need to stop trying to project our own ideas on others. And that's why I give everything to music, and that's why it's get 'em. GETMrecords.com, baby. Ah!
I've got some comments here just to share with you just quickly. Like, we got a thank you, get 'em, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think people really appreciate the fact that someone's talking fucking straight for a start. You know what I mean? It's like there's so much shit that people talk. It's sickening. And also, actually, JG here has called you a beautiful human. Oh,
well, thank you. I think most of us are beautiful humans. We just forgot that we have to wear our skeletons in the yard and not in the closet.
My fine friend, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you more in the future. And we'll hook up. We'll do some sort of live shit over this thing, shall we?
Definitely, it's all love, man. All love.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to sign off to these people, and I'll be back to you in just a second, sir. Would you like to just say one sort of parting words to the beautiful people?
Actually, yeah. I'm gonna read the quote that I put in my book.
Please do. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is out of the beginning of The Serpent Son. I said, to act within negligence of intent without realization of one's moral and ethical values, that's instant. Human nature points to evolutionary enigmatic value placements in the survival hierarchy, and that's the maddening magic of perception and the foreclosure of greed. And it's just in time, perhaps, when all true value seems to be fleeting. In one click, one blink, 1 second, even the largest of ours can become minute.
I love
Much
it.
love,
I
y'all.
love it, young sir. Thank you so much. I'm going to transition out, but thank you, sir. Very impressed. I'll be back to talk to you in just a second. Let me just sign off over here.
For sure.
So then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you and to have you watch us through the course of this thing. So do please, I'll be there for the after party over in Discord. So do please come and join me. We'll have open chat if you want to join in with the chat, kind of like Geo Malik and all that sort of stuff. Do please do it there. We'll be over there. I'll certainly be over there very shortly. So do please come and join us and have a conversation about the rest of it. Other than that, my fine friends, then thank you so much for joining. I am flattered and humbled as always. So, thank you very much. Stay beautiful. Love to my three. You take care of yourself.